What is going on, guys, and welcome to a new video. And today we're here at Abu Dhabi, and I decided I'm going to try and beat the 110 AI. Can I do it in the McLaren? Of course you can't do equal cars in Grand Prix mode, so we do have the disadvantage of not being in the quickest car. But I decided I'm just going to do it. I'm going to see if I can beat the 110 AI Abu Dhabi. I don't think Abu Dhabi is a particularly bad track for the AI. I think they're pretty decent around here. So I just decided let's try and do it. So we're in the McLaren, of course, as Carlos Sainz. On our one-shot qualifying lap, we're doing a one-shot and a 25% race. We're currently in P4, which is quite decent, but I do think we drop a few more positions in this middle sector due to us not having the straight line speed in this McLaren. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it. Maybe even turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. So yeah, this lap's going decent so far. We're in P6 in McLaren on medium tyres, don't forget, and I think that's the key. We're on medium so we can have the best shot at trying catching the AI at the end of the race. And yeah, so P7 now on mediums is pretty decent if we can stay there. But the last sector is probably where the AI will be at its strongest in this one shot against us, because it's really where the tyre is going to make the most difference. So it's starting to go down a few positions into P9. But we do make them back up, and yeah, it's pretty decent. If we can stay in P7, I think I'd definitely take that. But try not to extend this last corner, as it's a very dodgy corner, and we do just come across the line in P7 in a McLaren, and I think that is pretty damn decent. We're 1.3 seconds off pole on the medium, which is about 7/10 slower than the soft, and we've beaten our teammate on the harder tyre. So yeah, just going to quickly look at our sector times. They weren't great, but I think it's pretty good nonetheless. So now, strategy. We want to, of course, do the medium soft. We're going to take a bit of fuel up. And here we go with the 5 lights. It's lights out and away we go. The AI get bogged down a little bit as they do. It's a pretty decent start in P7, of course, trying to go around the outside of Ricciardo, who then dives up the inside of Perez. And we in P7, which I'd say is a good start, and not losing any positions. But here we go, Norris has a little look to our inside, and we go on the outside of Perez on the outboard cam, and we do get the position done there, and we are into P6. Now we got Ricciardo ahead of us. Can we get past him sooner or later, because we really want to try and stick to the back of Bottas in that Mercedes, because he is going to drag us along with the DRS. But the straight line speed of the AI is just too much at this early stage of the race, so we're going to stay in P6. So overall a good start, I'd say. As the AI brake very early for that final, or that chicane in the middle sector, as Norris and Perez battling a bit into that chicane, lost them a bit of time, so we don't have to worry about behind anymore, and we just need to try and pass Ricciardo as soon as we can, really. So overall I think a decent first lap. We've gained a position, rather I say, and of course we're on the medium tyre, so we're in a good position to maybe get a podium against the AI. Of course, what you have to remember is the Red Bull and Mercedes are a lot quicker than this McLaren, the Renault not so much, and on 110 we get our first warning. That's not good. We've got to make sure we don't get any warnings from now on, basically, because it'll put us under a lot of pressure, and any time penalty is going to basically ruin our chance of a good result. So, end of lap 1, and we can conclude it's been a good first lap. We've got a 1.5 second gap behind us, and we are right behind Ricciardo, who has got a bit of a gap to Bottas, which is a little bit unfortunate, so that means we have to pass him now, basically, before the DRS is activated. But otherwise the leaders will just get dragged along, which will be a little bit unfortunate if that does happen, as we have a big lock up into this hairpin in the middle sector. And can we get the move on Ricciardo? It doesn't really look like it. We're going on the off-board cam, but Bottas is having a little look on, I believe it's Albon ahead, but we just can't get past Ricciardo. The straight line speed was too much. We have a little look, but no more than a look. And one reason I decided to do Abu Dhabi is I was testing a setup anyway, because I had a TSRL League race around here. And by the way, saying that, make sure you do check out my live streams on Twitch. It's in the top link in the description. That's where I live stream any league races I'm doing, and I've done 2 the last Fridays. The season is over, so there might be a few week break as we go for the dive on Ricciardo. into P5, and that is very much necessary. Because we now have the DRS of Albon and Bottas, which is very good. So yeah, as I was saying before we made a move, make sure you follow me on Twitch. Link is in description. I would appreciate if you followed and just checked out the stuff down there, because that's where I do all my live streams, as I just said, because I used to do them on YouTube, but yeah, YouTube just isn't very great with live streams anymore, because they just copyright everything. Most of my videos get copyrighted, but luckily you can claim against them, but if it's live, you can't really do that. So that's a little bit annoying. As we decide to pit very early, lap 5, we almost lost the car going into the pit lane, but we do keep it under control, and I decided to pit lap 5 because my teammate was going to pit lap 6, and I kind of wanted to pit lap 6, but I just didn't want to affect my teammate, just a little thing, and so we get a good undercut, but the tyres will suffer towards the end. Also, one thing to note, as I was kind of rambling there, Lewis Hamilton was, I think his engine blew, so he retired from the session, which makes it even more easy for us to try and potentially get podium, if not the win, because I do believe he put us into the P4 behind Albon and Bottas, and I think Verstappen in the lead. But now we've got the undercut to do, but the problem with the undercuts now is we've got a load of AI cars to get through. As you can see, the grip we've got compared to them, straight up on behind Giovinazzi, but look at the straight line speed. We're using a bit of overtake, but he is quicker than us, so we're just going to save our ERS and just get the move done in the braking zone. He goes defensive, but we're just going to go straight around the outside of him. Easy as you like. Now next up, George Russell in the Williams. This should be quite an easy move, but we are quite far behind him. We're at 7 tenths behind him, so we're not going to get it into this straight, and I don't want to get held up in the last sector, because that's going to cost us a load of time on the undercut, which really could affect our race badly. As you can just see, the extra grip we've got straight up the inside, out of the triple chicane, and into P16 now. So yeah, we've got to get through these cars quickly without losing as much time possible, because the more time we lose, the less effective this undercut will be. And yeah, we really need it to be effective, because it's gonna really affect the result. So we're now stuck behind Grosjean, which isn't great. But we do just about get him into the final corner, but once again we're losing a load of time as we run a tiny bit wide. But as you can see now, under the track, you can see Bottas' name tag, and we have actually jumped him just about. As you can see, he is right behind us there, so the undercut has worked by a few seconds, I'd say, because they have been held up. But Verstappen is now, I believe, 3.5 seconds in front of us, and that's not going to be easy to catch, because he's got the quicker car, obviously, and 3.5 seconds is not a small gap at all. It's actually quite a lot bigger than it seems, especially in this game against the 110 AI. It's going to be really hard to catch, as Raikkonen came back at us on the straight when he didn't even have DRS, which shows how poor we are on straight, but we do get the position. But that's just costing us time, having to go on the inside of Raikkonen now with 3.6 behind Verstappen, so we're not making the inroads that we really want to be making, which isn't obviously great, but we've just got to put in some hot laps now. They've got to be qualifying laps if we want to win this race, because we are in a net P2, but it's going to be, I think, really difficult to catch Verstappen, as yeah, he's just going to be so quick compared to our car. Obviously we've got the tyre advantage and the fact we are a human. So yeah, let's just see if we can do it, staying on board for the rest of this lap, and I do believe I'm going to show you my fastest lap of the race, and I'm going to actually leave you with this lap just to kind of respect the driving almost, so you can just like hear the nice audio and the lines, etc. So here we go for our fastest lap of the race. And there we go, a 36.4, I think a pretty decent lap in the McLaren. But now moving on to lap 11, we are right out, well, we're just so close to Verstappen's DRS. It's 1.3 seconds, but the tyres are really starting to go off now. I've done literally so many hot laps. I think I did actually improve on that lap that I just showed you, but it was, I think I did have a corner cut in the morning, and it doesn't actually count as my fastest lap, but like 400s it was. But lap 12, you can just see I'm not really gaining. I've lost a tenth of the lap, and the tyres just started to go, and we're not going to get Verstappen, are we? One thing I've noticed about the AI is, look, we've dropped Bottas by 4.5 seconds. So one thing I've noticed is when you're following AI, they seem to drive quicker. Because we've dropped Bottas by 4.5 seconds, and you'd say he's in the quicker car than Verstappen. And Verstappen just he wasn't as slow, which is kind of weird. I don't know, maybe it's just some placebo thing. But on the last lap, the tyres really did die, and we are going to finish P2 from P7, I do believe, in the McLaren. Which I think against 110 AI, considering everything, is actually a pretty decent result. So yeah, P2 in the end. I think 5 seconds behind Verstappen after we just... that last lap was not very pretty at all. But we did get fastest lap, so we do get an extra point for that, if we were really into that sort of thing. But obviously it's just a one-off. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check up on all my videos, etc. Leave some ideas in the comments below what you want to see, etc. A few more 1v1s on the way. And put in the comments who you want me to see me do those 1v1s against, of course. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'm just going to leave you with the highlights of that race. So yeah, I'll see you guys very soon, probably in about 2 days time, for a new video. Peace.